Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. It's Cruacon Keith here, and today we're looking at the top 10 games on one of the most beloved retro consoles at the moment, the Super Nintendo by Nintendo. So the Super Nintendo was released in 1990 in Japan and 1992 in Europe. Not sure about United States, so I think it was 92 in the United States. It had three release titles, and we're going to take a look at my top 10. Now remember, this is my personal top 10, yours may be different. So without further ado, let's get stuck in. Okay, so at number 10 we have got UN Squadron. This is an amazing shooter by Capcom. They took a very cool approach with this, replacing spaceships with real-world jet fighters, and the game is all the better for it. Originally released in the arcades, the port that surfaced on the Super Nintendo featured more options and upgrades than was available in the arcade. Usually, the opposite happens. The presentation is very anime looking. You are a member of a mercenary squadron hoping to buy your freedom by battling against the evil Project 4 or something. The story was terrible, but the gameplay was fantastic. A lot of people may have missed this, so I urge you to check it out now for yourselves. The opening level is pretty difficult, but stick with it, you won't regret it. At number 9 we've got Uniracers. Uniracers, or as it's known in Europe, Unirally, is a bizarre, one-of-a-kind game released in 1995 in Europe. It was a Super Nintendo exclusive that should have been more popular than it was, but unfortunately at the time of release, Pixar sued Nintendo as the unicycles looked too much like the unicycles in the Pixar short film Red's Dream. Pixar won the case, so when the first pressing of 300,000 copies sold out, that was that. No more were made, and you will never see Nintendo release this on the Virtual Console or anything like that. The game itself was excellent. It featured two Uniracers racing each other in split screen and performing cool stunts. The idea is pretty ridiculous, and the developers DMA, who became Rockstar, knew this. Even the manual is ridiculous, with a well thought out story about bored deities. And take a look at this. The notes section in the manual came pre-filled out. Hilarious. At number 8 we have got Super Castlevania 4. The Castlevania series has been with us a long time, and there are still games being released in the franchise to this day. Castlevania 4 is a reimagining of the first Castlevania for the NES. You play Simon Belmont as he and his legendary whip, the Vampire Killer, attempt to defeat Dracula and restore order to the world. Castlevania 4 took the original premise and added new levels as well as better controls and a few additional gameplay mechanics. All of these reasons make it one of the best games the Super Nintendo has to offer. At number 7 we've got Pilot Wings. One of only 3 launch titles available to own alongside your newly purchased Super Nintendo, Pilot Wings was Nintendo's showpiece for the power of the 16-bit system. This was 3D gaming. Okay, not 3D as we would later come to define it with polygons and all that fancy stuff, or even 3D as we were playing on the Amiga at the time, but 3D nonetheless, in that you could take to the skies and feel the experience of free flight and sense the depth and distance of the ground below in ways that NES could never hope to present. It was Nintendo's Mode 7 technology that made it possible, a software technique that created the illusion of depth by taking flat surfaces and presenting them from any angle. But few of us knew this term at the time. As far as we were concerned, it may as well have been Wizards making it happen. Pilot Wings had a few other releases over the years, most recently on the 3DS. All Pilot Wings titles are awesome and great fun, but there's something uniquely satisfying about playing the original on the Super Nintendo. And at number 6 we have International Superstar Soccer. I hate when people use the word soccer instead of football, but I guess it's understandable that Nintendo named it soccer as it was sold in the US, so it's okay. This is probably the best football game available on any 16-bit system. It was a very thorough, detailed and accurate conversion of the sport to a video game. It featured real-life teams and players and played really well. Like a lot of games on this list, this is still being released on updated systems today, although you probably know its newer brand name, Pro Evolution Soccer. Okay, so we're halfway through the video. Let me know in the comments below what you think of my first 5. Anyway, I bet a lot of people haven't played UN Squadron or Uni Rally, so you guys better sort that out. Okay, let's get back into it. At number 5, we've got AxeLay. AxeLay is an incredible looking game on the Super Nintendo. It's a real visual treat. It uses mode 7 in some stages to make the environment look as if it's rolling over the horizon. It works really well. When it isn't making your eyes pop out in amazement, it's a regular side-scrolling shooter. Think like R-Type. There's not much else to say. If you're a fan of shooters, you've probably played this already. If not, do yourself a favour and sort that out ASAP. And at number 4, a game probably a lot of you are expecting to see on this list, Street Fighter 2 Turbo. A genre-defining masterpiece that is arguably still one of the best 2D fighters ever made. Street Fighter 2 Turbo was, for its time, the best fighting game available for a home console and the pinnacle of evolution for Street Fighter games. I played Street Fighter a lot in the arcades and was less than impressed with the Amiga version, so I got this for my Super Nintendo back in the day, and for me, it was super close to the arcade. Street Fighter was so popular in the 90s, all my friends were playing it and talking about it. The fact that Street Fighter games are still being made today says a lot about the franchise, although I would still prefer to play this version over any of the latest gen releases. You win! Okay, at number 3 we have got Super Bomberman. Super Bomberman was the first official 4-player game for the Super Nintendo, courtesy of the multi-tap device. The game and multi-tap were bundled together in a large and impressive box. That type of presentation was very rare to see back in 1993. The game itself is excellent. The Bomberman battle mode was some of the best one I've ever had with friends while playing the Super Nintendo. Bomberman games are still made to this day, and it's when they don't deviate too much from the original that they are successful. The DS Bomberman was great. Bomberman Act Zero on the Xbox 360 was shite. At number 2, my second best game ever made on the Super Nintendo is Super Mario AllStars. One of the greatest games on the Super Nintendo for me is a compilation of Nintendo's best NES Mario games, Super Mario Bros. 1, 2 and 3 and Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels, which is confusingly the original Japanese version of Super Mario 2. Google that if you want more information, it is a bit weird. At the time I thought The Lost Levels was a collection of super hard levels, either made specifically for the compilation or just levels that were never released. I had no idea it was a full game. Anyway, the 4 games were restructured to take advantage of the Super Nintendo hardware, featuring updated graphics and sounds and additional save mechanisms, and for me this remains the best Mario experience I've ever had. To celebrate the 25th anniversary, they brought out a physical version for the Wii, a nice little box set celebrating 25 years, red box. It's very collectible. If you're into that stuff, I recommend picking it up. Okay, and the number 1 Super Nintendo game of all time is, as far as I'm concerned, Super Mario Kart. Mario Kart was revolutionary when it was released in 1992. Before then, most racing video games were straightforward and dull, leaning heavily on the simulation side. Mario Kart brought fun and all the trappings of the regular and hugely popular Mario platform games into the karting universe. It introduced the power-up mode that we see copied in almost every karting clone since. It was very simple to pick up and play, start at the 50cc level and go, but it could become fiendishly difficult and take time to master. The multiplayer mode was also excellent, and I spent many nights playing battles against my brother back in the 90s. I still play this today. I still play the modern iterations too. Every release is a masterpiece as far as I'm concerned, but there's something about the original that keeps drawing me back to it. Maybe it's because I was there when it was released and have so much nostalgia tied into it, but then again, I see gamers half my age that prefer this version to any other version. Nintendo really did capture lightning in a bottle in 1992. So there you go. That's my personal top 10 on the Super Nintendo. Yours may be different. Super Mario Kart, my absolute favourite. I know a lot of people out there were expecting to see this game. And what can I say? I mean, we have different tastes, we have different likes. I respect the Zelda games. I haven't played many of them. I played a few. I've never really played this one. I just never got into it. You know, people are different. I keep saying that. And that top 10 was my personal top 10 on the Super Nintendo. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the video either way, whether you agreed or not. Let me know in the comments how much you disagreed with me. And please leave a like, please subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you on the next video. If you like that video and if you like what I do on the channel, please leave a like and please subscribe because it helps very much. Thank you.